can say this about season 4. It is going to be so worth the wait.
Nowhere, actually.
A wrecking machine. I'll take it.
I'm still figuring out my own style, Mark, actually.
It was great.
It took 2 minutes and I had to answer, yeah, go for it.
Are you sure you're not interested? I was like, don't ask me again. I can't refuse that twice.
In Holland, in one country.
Here are these two.
She got me so deep and underwater and I drank it. That's not good.
You'll try chocolate from South Africa to Australia to England. It will taste so different.
So it's been really amazing that it's been with you after 10 long years.
The first title we were messing around with, we were going to call it Lockdown. Yeah. And then after a while, we actually kind of realised, God, this is dragging on a lot longer than what we thought it was going to be.
I didn't want to give people a reminder.
Our bass player has a band. We were like, let's go on the road, man. But and then it just came to a screeching halt.
We had to work on like how I was biting the carrot. Like I had to do it very purposefully, you know? You didn't want a weak bite, but you didn't want a bite that was too strong.
Someone jumps the stage and one of our techs just body slams him to the ground and you can see me kick him.
I guess I was too distracted. I was having too much fun. Never a bad thing.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Jota. Hello.
Hello, Mark.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. I'm Mark Sugiyama from Eclectic Arts based here in Seattle, Washington. Thank you so much for joining me wherever you are in the world today on this Thursday, the 15th of April, 2021. Goodness, we're halfway through April now. And just a few housekeeping things before we get started with my guests today. Coming up tomorrow on Friday, there's actually been an addition to my schedule. So at noon Pacific Daylight Time, I've got Mason Hill, who are a terrific rock band from Scotland. They're going to be joining me. Scott, their singer, will be joining me at noon. And the new addition is at 1 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Terry Nunn from Berlin will be joining me to talk about her upcoming event that's at the end of April. And then at 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, I've got a really cool event with Little Miss Nasty, who are based out of Los Angeles, and they have different residencies where they did before the pandemic. I'm sure those are going to restart once things open up again. They were billed as a burlesque rock and roll troupe, so they're still doing that, but they have a brand new song that's actually dropping tomorrow called Hungry. So we're going to be talking about that and everything else under the sun with them. I've had a chance to photograph them when they were on tour with Lords of Acid 2 years ago, and they've also toured with In This Moment and a few other bands. So they're definitely a rock and roll type of thing with a lot of dance and definitely a sexy attitude to it. So that's going to be on Friday, and that's going to wrap up my live streams for this week, which is going to be a total of something like 8. And I also have the Seattle International Film Festival going on right now. So I love being busy, don't get me wrong, but this is beyond busy. And there really isn't much of a break because I go right back to the live stream starting on Sunday, and Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week, I already have live streams booked. And I believe someone's talking about Tuesday as well. So just if you follow me as, I almost said my name. If you follow me as Eclectic Arts Media on Instagram, one word, that's where I post everything first. And then I migrate things over to Facebook. And then obviously I'm here on YouTube. And if you happen to be watching this video, if you could like it and also subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell if you want to know when things are upcoming, that would be great. And if you're over on Twitch, you can follow me there. That would be great as well. And let me change this real quick. Hey, Steve, good to see you down in Texas. Hopefully you're not getting that golf ball sized hail my friend's getting down in Houston. I just saw him post about that like an hour ago, but hopefully you're safe and sound down there. And yeah, I have been busy, Steve. And quite unintentionally this busy since I knew I had the film festival going on, but sometimes you need to jump on opportunities when they're there. And that's how I kind of view things that, yeah, I'll just make the most of things when they happen, because there's going to be a time when I won't have the availability to do everything that I want to do due to survival jobs and all that kind of fun stuff that pay the bills. But right now I've got some time, so I'm going to try hitting it. And speaking of that, let's get to things. No, just rain. Okay, good. I'm glad you just have rain down here. We've got sun up here, and it's about, gosh, it's pushing like the upper 60s, which is really strange for us up here in Seattle, typically we'd be like in the maybe upper 50s, and I know we're supposed to hit about 75 like on Saturday, so I'm not complaining. It's beautiful outside right now. It's actually warm in here. But let's get to my guest. My guest today is a talented performer, singer, and musician. Her latest single is called Bad Intentions. Please welcome to the Eclectic Arts virtual studio, Emma Garell and her band. Hi, everybody. How y'all doing over there in Virginia?
We're doing pretty good.
Spicy.
Is everybody good?
Yeah, it looks pretty good to me. So nice. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so let's kind of start off with the current things, and we'll kind of maybe work our way back and just kind of see how we're doing on time. So the single Bad Intentions came out, and so what's the meaning behind it, and also how was it recorded?
So I was, at the time, I was working with a producer in Leesburg, Virginia, which is like towards DC for people who are not from here. And I don't know, the way that I was working with him at the time was I kind of just went in every 2 weeks or so, and we would just start writing a song. And with that one, I just kind of had this idea and a couple lyrics that I've written down at the time, and it's just kind of about like being in a social setting or meeting somebody for the first time where you have a kind of a connection, but you're in a relationship with somebody. So you're not really going to do anything, but, you know, up in your head, you got a lot of thoughts going on. So yeah, that's kind of what it's about. The recording process was pretty quick, actually. I think it only took us 2 sessions. We wrote it, kind of laid down the bass tracks to it and the bass line to it. And yeah, I think like the next session, Dylan came in and just like put down a killer solo, and you know, we did it. So
Okay, cool. And so with that particular song, were all of the guys involved with the recording, or just certain guys in the band? Or
no, it was just Dylan and I. He wasn't in the band yet. He has just entered the band. And Cody had just entered the band too at the time. So it was kind of just me and Dylan.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So so how long has this lineup been together then, the current lineup?
Well, the current lineup has been together for like a month. These two, though, we've been together for about a year now, maybe a little over that.
The 5 best pals that anyone could have. 5 best pals that anyone could have.
And him and the bass player they just entered the group about a month ago. So.
Okay, all right. And before we get into more of the other songs that you've done and that type of thing, can you tell me a bit about the video that you shot for Bad Intentions? When did you do that, and what was involved with that?
Yeah, it happened very abruptly. I didn't really know that it was going to happen. Cody was the one who filmed it, our drummer. He's also our videographer and has filmed pretty much all of our music videos. And I feel like he knew that we were filming it that day, but I didn't. Like, we're roommates, so I just kind of like woke up,
very,
and he like had
hectic, the way my brain works. It was, I don't know, I just decided to play with a green screen, and I went to Walmart and bought some fabric, and we filmed it like 2 hours after I told her.
Yeah, he was pretty much just like, stand here, do this, and it's actually, we did it at the wall, like right behind,
just, like,
in front of
took
us.
Everything off of our living room wall. Like, it was like the first week we moved into this house, I think.
Yeah.
And put some green fabric up. That fun story I got for like $4 at Walmart because they sold me the whole roll of fabric for the price of 1 yard. That's winning. That's just winning.
Nice. Okay. And Cody, do you have a formal background in videography, or is it something you just picked up on your own?
No, basically I bought my first GoPro camera like 10 years ago. Just started throwing it on everything and anything, and I tell everybody I've been trying to make myself look cool for years, and now I finally get to make other people look cool, and it's way easier to do that. Yeah, I finally like bought an actual camera. I shoot with a Canon EOS R now, and I got a drone, bunch of different little toys that I play with and stuff, and I still have my oldest GoPro camera that still travels with me to every shoot. I don't know, just learn as I go.
Okay, cool. Well, the video came out really well, so that's hats off to you for sure. And it's nice having a videographer in your band.
Yeah. Yeah.
Than having to trust somebody else to capture your vision.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so actually maybe that would be kind of, since I heard a little bit about Cody being the drummer and being the videographer, and you mentioned that your bass player is practicing somewhere else right now, and we have. Can we introduce the other members of the band behind you?
Yeah. So this is Dylan.
Very easy. Both Dylan.
This is Dylan, and this is Dylan. They're both named Dylan.
Greetings and salutations.
I present to you the double D.
Yeah, they both are playing guitar. I don't like saying second guitar because you guys are kind of both do your solos, and you know they all kind of
buddy.
Yeah.
Don't you ever try to be louder than me.
All right, cool. And so, have you guys had like chances to rehearse there, like in your home, or what's the situation like? Even if you can't play a live show, or can you play a live show out there?
We have not played a live show since
December.
Yeah, December. When
they are happening.
Yeah.
Just like limited capacities and kind of. We have one booked in July. That's an outdoor, kind of a bigger. It's a private festival type of deal. But other than that, yeah, we practice. We have a studio space in the back of the house that we pretty much utilize. Somebody's playing in here every day.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. At least you have something booked. I think there's probably going to be even more of that, especially for outdoor stuff in the summer.
Yeah.
Like the safest way for I think every state to be able to do something. Hopefully. And so I'm curious. When I was listening to a lot of your music, Emma, that it sounds like a real mix of. There's definitely rock stuff, but there's alternative things going on there. There's even like kind of like Alanis Morissette kind of stuff. It's just like a mix of it. I'm just kind of curious, what are you listening to these days? And I'm kind of accurate with the influences that I'm hearing, at least.
Yeah, you're definitely accurate with the influences. At least with like my singing and what I listened growing up and stuff like that. Recently, I listened to a lot of like folk and like old country music, but I think that's just because my partner that's kind of music that he plays, and I kind of just been like listening to that a lot. Occasionally I go back in my catalog and like listen to like the old stuff, but yeah, pretty much just kind of a mixture of things, really.
Okay. And for the rest of the guys, when did you guys get involved with music with drums and both playing guitar?
Drums was 4th grade band. I marched the sleigh bells for like 2 years in the parade because I was fucking horrible, screwing horrible. That word, my bad. And yeah, I'm 35 now, so it's been a while.
Cool. Yeah, I've been playing guitar for about 14 years, and Guitar Hero 2 got me into guitar. That was like my first exposure to a lot of stuff from Black Sabbath, Foo Fighters, and the heavier stuff that we like Lamb of God had a song on that game. So I just got my full spectrum of like rock and metal music taste from that game. And then like 2 months after Christmas for getting that game, I was like, I want to see if I can like figure out how to do this for real. It might be a little more fun, and it certainly was. This is random, but you mentioned Alanis Morissette. There's this video.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should bring this up, but like one of my favorite things I've ever heard you sing is "You Ought to Know," and there's a video. I don't know if it's on YouTube. Is it on YouTube?
It's on Facebook,
we should find that link at some point because it's a sick like acoustic performance of you covering that song.
It's like a full open mic style.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Thanks.
Anyway,
I forgot all about that. Oh, yeah, right, me. So both of my parents were or are hippies, and like they just listen to all kinds of weird stuff. And my mom would like be up late, way later than I would. I'd like come home when I was in my teen years, and she'd like show me all these bands like Pink Floyd, Frank Zappa, Robin Trower, stuff like that. And she's like, this is up your alley. You'll like this. And she was right. But the guitar playing, I was like 12, 13. My dad used to keep his guitars just kind of up in the living room. And I took one day and was picking around it, and he came in and he was like, "Hey, what are you doing in there, you little whippersnapper? And he's like, you playing on my guitar, are you? And I'm like, yeah, Rocky Roll, yeah. And he was like, I tell you what, if you can get serious with that thing in your hand right there, that exact guitar, which was an Ibanez Les Paul, which as I'm sure you know, discontinued. And I actually left that in North Carolina, so I feel pretty stupid. But I'll get it. I'll get it someday. I'm sure it's just sitting right where I left it. No, but he said, if you can get serious with that, and if you can, play it, stay at it, practice it, and everything, I'll pay for your lessons. And once you've shown a few months or so, that guitar is yours. And I was like, no way. And then 3-4 months later, that it was in my hands, and it stayed with me all up until I neglected to remember to pack it when I left Juggling Gypsy in Wilmington, North Carolina. So Juggling Gypsy, if you're watching this, please mail me. Please write me back. I know you know what you have. Please return it. It's sentimental.
Okay, well, thanks for sharing about your backgrounds.
It's been about 16, 17 years, by the way, something like that.
Okay.
Of guitar playing, I mean. Not since I left it.
Well, hopefully, they return your guitar to you soon, so that you'll have it back in your collection. And that's my main instrument as well, as guitar. And my brother played drums, so I can relate to that kind of thing. Although I'm probably at least 15 years older than you guys, so I was listening to stuff back in the late 70s, early 80s, and then it's all like Guitar Hero 2. Bringing that stuff back, like we were talking pre-show, it's pretty cool that people got turned on to the stuff that I was already into and grew up with. So first show I saw, I was 9 years old. I saw Kiss in 1979. So that's how far back I go.
You're a little older with Rock Band when that's Guitar Hero came out. I had gone through a little couple-year lull of drumming, and that game, I was at a party one night. My friends had it on. I was like, I used to play drums, and started hitting the pads, and that's what got me back into playing. It was I'm sure there's a million of those stories for musicians that game did something. Mm-hmm. As much as everybody likes to, oh, it's just Guitar Hero, it did something for people.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that for sure. And that kind of is a good segue that the early years, Emma, for you, as we were talking, you were in School of Rock.
Yes, I was.
And so what's the main aspects you took away from your time doing School of Rock?
Probably performing on stage. I think that was the thing I learned the most from them. I started when I was about 14, and I did it throughout my high school years. So I was there for a while. And they introduced me to everything. In fact, my first show there was Black Sabbath show, and I signed up for it because it was the only day I could do. And so I didn't really know anything about Black Sabbath. I just knew that Ozzy Osbourne was singing for them. So that was kind of, I think, just performing and band etiquette, and even just venue etiquette, and being nice to your sound guy, and just all that stuff, and not taking forever to tune, and get on and get off your, just all that stuff, just being in a venue and what it's like. And I think that was a really awesome thing to learn at such a young age, was how to navigate being and playing in a venue,
Especially because most of us that didn't go through School of Rock, we just got yelled at.
Yeah.
For doing stuff wrong, and then figured it out.
Yeah.
What a way to learn.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to just say, I don't even think I realized the School of Rock taught all those different dimensions of the business. That's really great that they do that, because you're right. Either you learn the hard way by having someone yell at you or threaten you with things, or you figure out, you get on the stage, kill it, and get off. And don't sit there and try to pack your gear on the stage into your cases and all that kind of shit.
Off the stage,
Yeah, the next band's no one
The cymbal vault belongs off the stage. Off the stage.
Get it off.
Yeah, for sure. And so when you were, I know that you did a band with some of your School of Rock classmates, I guess you could call them, and then you started doing your own solo work. Is that correct, or was there anything in between there?
No, so there's this thing called house band in School of Rock. where some of the more advanced students can try out to be in house band, which is more of a gigging band where like every weekend they would have gigs that School of Rock set up for them. And by the time that I felt that I was ready to be in house band, I kind of wanted to have my own band, because although house band is like awesome, you know, I didn't have control over the songs we were playing or where we were playing, and just like a lot of the other aspects of being in a band, and even, you know, choosing who I'm playing with. So at that time, I think I was about 17, and I just kind of collected some of the other people in School of Rock and was like, hey, you guys want to start a band? And we did, and it was called Bismuth. And that's kind of where I got introduced to like bar gigging, like the 4-hour long sets and all that stuff. So I did that for a while with them. And then when I was 18, I wanted to start writing my own music and stop playing other people's songs. And that just didn't really mesh well with the other people I was playing with. We tried to write songs together, it just wasn't working. So I ended up writing some stuff with some of my ex-teachers from School of Rock, actually. And my first guitarist in the Emma Garell band was actually an old teacher at School of Rock, Andrew Rolk, and he's the one who wrote Destination Anaheim with me, and Mojo Man and all that, and Crawl. So yeah, so that's kind of, I don't even know how long I rambled about that, but anyways, but yeah.
No, that's cool. And it's again, I only know a little bit about School of Rock and the branches that are out here locally in the Seattle area. So it's fascinating just kind of hearing that they had a house band that was playing gigs and some of these other aspects of it. And I know, like, I interviewed Courtney Cox from the Iron Maidens, and she went to the original one in Philadelphia, apparently.
Oh, wow.
And did some sort of touring. So I guess that makes sense to me that they would have house bands. And
Yeah, they have this other program called All Stars, which is like the best of the best. So like there's the more advanced students who are in house band. Those house band students can try out for All Stars, which is like they take about 12 kids on a tour for about 2 weeks around the country. I never tried out for it, but I know 2 people who made it on there. They're both very exceptional musicians. So
okay. And do you play instruments yourself?
I can play a little bit of guitar, but not a lot. The instrument that I guess I can kind of pull off is the piano. I usually just play that in private by myself, or when Cody's hiding in his bedroom, I'll come and sneak over. We have a piano over here.
A very out of tune.
A very out of tune piano.
Really?
It's very, no, don't touch it. But yeah, so I can pull off the piano, and I just don't play it very often. I should play it more. I used to teach piano lessons, so I used to be pretty good at it, but just been a while.
So. Okay. And so you mentioned, that you had written some or co-written some songs, like with past members of your band and that type of thing. Has this lineup had a chance to like jam in the back of the house and kind of write stuff, or do you not work that way when you write your songs?
So I'm hoping for that to be the new way that we go about things. Is to start writing songs and jamming stuff out together. Before, I just didn't feel like I had the right lineup, and to like start really writing all together. I pulled Dylan in a lot to put down guitar and stuff on the songs, but I just didn't feel like we were there yet, if that makes any sense. So the past couple of songs and pretty much all the songs that will be on the record coming out in the summer were written by me and the producer that we used to have. So.
Okay. All right. And so when this record gets released this summer, provided everything keeps going on the up and up, then, and you mentioned you have an outdoor show in July, do you have any other plans, or is it too much of a question mark right now for the release?
Yeah, I think it's too much of a question mark, honestly. I don't know what to expect. It seems like the fall there's a lot of people going on tour and stuff, so maybe.
I think we're close. It's just waiting just a little bit longer to kind of see how it's going to play out.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And I've had a chance to talk to many musicians, and one of them was bringing out the point that everyone's waiting to go on tour, but then everybody can't go on tour at the same time. So it's going to have to be some level of staggered touring, or something's got to go on depending on where you're at. But with the release, do you have plans to have like CDs, vinyl, anything kind of physical? I love physical media.
Yeah, we'll definitely be having CDs. We're kind of talking about vinyl. I know that vinyl is like very popular right now, so it's just kind of not. I'm just feeling unsure about like.
It's very pricey to do.
Yeah, it's pricey to do, but it's also, I'm just wondering like, will our fans buy vinyl? Are our fans the type of people that buy vinyl? You know.
Comment below and give us your preference.
We can buy vinyl. So that's kind of where we're at on that. I mean, it's cool, and I like vinyl, and it does seem to be very popular right now.
Yeah, I bring it up with pretty much every music artist that I talk to when they have something new. It's like, because I don't stream stuff unless I absolutely have to. So I'm not one of those people, and so that's why I love to buy stuff from bands, and I'm just hoping that they continue putting things out that are physical media and doesn't become a complete dinosaur at some point.
Yeah. And we're looking to print new T-shirts, so buy our old T-shirts so we can print new ones.
There you go, folks. And where's the best place for people to follow you and to buy those T-shirts and anything else to support you?
Yeah, emmagarellmusic.com is where you can find all of our merch items and pretty much any information that you would need about us at all. You can go follow us on our socials at Emma Garell Music on Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, on Instagram it's Emma Garell Music, and then it's the Emma Garell Band on Facebook, and Garell is Garell.
Okay, and I guess one of the
YouTube as well for all the videos and stuff.
Okay. One of the last questions for me would be, so what kind of advice would you give somebody else that wants to start off that's a young musician? Anybody?
Anybody? Dylan?
Don't give up. I know that sounds really corny, but I cannot tell you, especially as I've gotten older and still somehow been doing this stuff, how many times I'm like, this is it. This is the day. I'm selling everything. I give up. Today, for outside reasons from this band or any other thing, was kind of one of those days. And I was on the way here listening to music, like singing along to it. And I'm like, I got to do this. Like, if I don't do this, I'm going to go insane. So don't give up, no matter how good or bad you think you are, no matter what you think you can or can't do, just keep doing it. It's going to be, in a lot of ways, therapy for you, just like it is for, I think, pretty much all of us, all throughout your life.
Yeah.
I have something. So I guess two things. One is like, be the musician that other people want to work with. It's a lot easier than shopping yourself around like sight unheard, you know what I mean? Like, and the fact that we have social media to do that makes it really easy in this day and age. And also for people like me that go through spells of like being too anxious or insecure to reach out and try to find projects and people to collaborate with, like if you can just kind of throw something up there that you think you're proud of or whatever, and find people that relate to it and that have a good personal connection with you, I think that that's worth pursuing than just like constantly going around and talking to strangers. I think that that's the best way to start networking. And then also, like, I guess if you're young, like if you're really creative, it's easy to be really possessive over ideas, whether it's a song you wrote by yourself or even just a little guitar part. Like, I think finding it in yourself to learn how to serve other people and serve the song as early on as possible is probably the best way to set you on a good path and have some good experiences playing music with people. So
yeah, I think for me, just like the best thing that I did, I think, was starting to go to open mics and meeting other musicians in the area and collaborating with them and just getting to know them. I think some of like my most valued friendships came from going to open mics and just really getting into the music scene of where I was, which like not every open mic is great. So you got to kind of search around, but that was kind of that was a really big part, I think, of me starting my own band. You know.
Okay, no, that's really great advice from all of you guys. It's really well said, well spoken. And I think the one piece too, Dylan number 2 or Dylan in the middle, when you mentioned about trying to be the musician people want to work with, that's a lost art. It's so easy to get caught up in your own stuff of what you do and it's your song, and I just get so possessive about it that
don't be like that guy. Don't be that musician. Don't. We all know him, and it's.
And somehow I'm still in the band.
With me. Just don't. There's a reason. Just chill. Be personable. Be approachable.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like I know that Emma, you were mentioning from the School of Rock about how they're teaching about how to conduct yourself in the venue with everybody, not just the fans, but with the sound guy and with if there's a merch person, if there's bar people there and security and all that kind of thing, because most likely you're gonna see those people again. And if you have a bad reputation, it gets around real quick. Doesn't matter where you're located. So I think everything was really well said. And I guess the last thing I'm just curious about, since I'm over here in Seattle, you guys are over in Virginia. What's your scene like there, just in general for music? I have no clue what it's like in Virginia.
Oh man, currently it seems like it's a lot of like metal, mostly like thrash and like kind of beat down metalcore stuff, and like the punk scene's huge here. And for a while, I thought the like bluegrass scene was still popping big time, or at least a lot of like bluegrass acts could come through here, and they'd have their festivals and everything. But I don't know, even that, and I mean, yeah, this is of course before COVID, but even that seems to have kind of died off in the last 5 years. So it just kind of seems like punk, maybe some like alternative rock and like metal stuff is like the dominant stuff here. But you get your little, what I like about the scene is you get your little like weird acts here and there. Yeah, like there's this one band we know called Kill the Druid and all that, and they're very like they're rock and all that, but they have these like
prog aspects.
Yeah, they have all these little sounds interwoven, and like from song to song, they'll change instruments. Like they're
spicy violin.
Yeah,
I'm empty, man.
Their violinist will change from violin to like keys or guitar, and their keyboard player will go from vocals back to keyboard or bass or guitar. They're awesome.
So sick.
So like little stuff like that will show up every now and then. I don't know how like popular it gets per se, like however you define popularity, but I mean it seems like all the most like experimental and like really good musicians music, so to speak, like that kind of stays more on the underground. So it's almost like a little treasure of sorts, but I would like to see them go places, just as one example.
Yeah, there's a lot of like jazz and funk too, just from like VCU, which is our college like here in Richmond, and they have like a pretty great like jazz program there, so there's like a lot of those
good arts all around.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the college scene who are like doing pretty great jazz music and funk and stuff. So
then you got some folk Americana.
Yeah,
our bass player is like top notch Americana folk, like amazing stuff.
It's like as much as it's almost like when you have a lot of ingredients in one pot, but you still mix in a bunch of other stuff, and it's like you're thinking, oh my god, what have I done? This is going to be horrible. Like this can't be the recipe, and then you try it and you're like, oh okay, that's not too bad.
That's good.
By the way, Lamb of God and Guar are from Richmond. We have a Guar bar. We have a bar named after Guar. So with those two bands, metal is probably metal's really big in Richmond.
And it's one of those theme bars that actually has like good food.
I think Guar and Lamb of God are two of Richmond at least #1 exports right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, no, that I must have had a complete brain fart about both of those bands being from Richmond, but that doesn't surprise me considering how old I'm getting. But that's all. Their scene sounds really cool. It actually sounds somewhat similar to Seattle in the sense that every genre is kind of represented. There's some really interesting hybrid things that are kind of in the underground.
It's sort of considered like it's very comparable to like Seattle, Washington, kind of that like northwest sort of scene of where grunge originated, kind of that where it went from there, kind of where everybody branched, kind of that thing. If that makes any sense, kind of.
Yeah.
That generation.
Yeah, the next wave that came. Okay, and just curious too, how are your venues holding up out there? Are they going to be able to open up again, or some of them had to close, or don't really know?
So far,
there's been some that
Yeah.
have not made it, which there's been everywhere, which sucks. We work in one of the venues that's still been running shows, and it has been a struggle. Luckily, it's been picking up, but it's definitely like when this opens up, go see your bands.
Yeah.
Like go support your bars, go get takeout food, go buy beer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody's. I mean, it's been rough.
Go get kicked out of places again. It's all good.
A couple of venues that I would frequent a lot and play gigs with primarily have touring bands as the main event, so I know they haven't been doing real well since this all happened. So they're the ones I'm the most worried about.
Yeah, the venues here that are not also restaurants are the ones that I think are struggling like really hard because they cannot sell food, to kind of like combat that. So it'll be interesting. I mean, none of those, like the Canal Club and the Broadberry and the National, like they haven't been open for almost a year now. So
Okay, well, yeah, I hear you, and like you were saying, it seems like every city's got some venues that didn't make it, unfortunately, but hopefully things will open up, and can't wait to get back there and support live music. And so Cody, Dylan, and Emma, thank you so much for taking the time. It's been awesome talking with all you guys and getting a chance to know you, and I'm looking forward to the album this summer. And if you ever have anything else that you'd like to come on and talk about, you know how to get a hold of me. I'd love to do a part 2, a part 3, part 4, whatever else is going on. Plus, you guys are drinking beer, which I'm not doing right now, so that's making me thirsty.
We're running low.
Nice. Well, have a good night over there, and stay safe, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Mark, nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you guys. Thank you.